So, what's the deal with the Clinton email scandal? Is there a there? One of the things that is abundantly obvious when you follow the scandal is that keeps coming up in my mind is who cares? Is anybody going to care about this? And then you get from the other side, you get people who want this to really impact Clinton to tell you that it's corruption at the highest level and she lies about this, that, and the other thing. And here's the basic gist when you're dealing with corruption in a presidential candidate. Now, do I think that Hillary Clinton is personally corrupt? Yes, somewhat. Do I think she lies? Yes, of course. Does every politician lie? Of course. The question is, does it reach a level where it's actually something really, really important? The gold standard of corruption, the thing that everything always gets referred back to, is Watergate. Now, why is that? Because that is really the only presidential corruption scandal, the only presidential corruption crisis that was at the level where it was actually really important, where we had reached real criminality. Do I think Clinton hid those emails on purpose? Yes. Why? Because there was probably politically damaging things in there that she didn't want the Republicans rifling through. Is that make it right? No. But is it corruption of the type that we should really concern ourselves with? No. Do I think she was funneling money into some drug cartel in Nicaragua? I mean, it depends on how corrupt you think that corruption actually gets. And it basically within the boundaries of standard issue political corruption. If you are an adult, you assume that by the time somebody reaches the level of presidential power, there is going to be some sort of backstory of corruption. A matter of fact, the least corrupt was probably Obama. The least corrupt was Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter, even if you're a Democrat, which I am, was a terrible president. So corruption really isn't that important unless it reaches the level of Nixon, where it starts to become criminal. You got to assume that there is a base level of corruption that anybody has reached a position of power will be dealing with. There are conflicts of interest. You got to be an adult about this. Every single one of our presidents had some sort of corruption scandal, and they're all amount to sort of a nothing burger. Iran-Contra. Is it a big deal? Nah, not so much. The Valerie Plame stuff, I'm not even 100% sure what that was all about. So in the case of the Clinton email scandals, and I actually tend to believe pretty much the most damning aspects of it, I tend to think they're true. But I still don't think it rises to the level of anything important. The difference with Nixon was not the corruption itself. It wasn't the original Watergate break-in. If it had only been that, the Nixon thing would have been a slap on the hand and it would have ended exactly where it started. It was the cover-up. It was the cover-up that got Nixon into trouble, because that's when he started dabbling in real criminality, in really, really dangerous corruption. The initial thing was typical political corruption. And that's what we're dealing with Hillary Clinton. We aren't dealing with real criminality. We're dealing with a cover-up of she wanted to hide some potentially politically embarrassing things so that they wouldn't be rifled through by the Republicans during a presidential campaign. Is it right? No. Should she have done it? No. Should she be chastised for it? Yes. Has she been chastised for it? Yes. But that's about what we're talking about. Now, in a normal campaign, this would be potentially very, very politically damaging. But we are not in a normal campaign. She is running against Donald Trump, who is not a normal candidate, who isn't even a real candidate. I mean, it's becoming more and more obvious that he is kind of becoming almost a joke of a candidate. And there's almost no way that anybody will vote for him. And by the time we get to Election Day, we're only in August, and by the time we get to Election Day, it looks like he's going to be completely blown out. I mean, people say things can change and, 90 days is an eternity in politics, but I don't see him changing. He is on a trajectory of self-immolation, and I see him continuing that until November. I do not see it changing because I do not see him changing. If he stuck to an anti-Hillary script and he was able to corral himself and have message discipline, would he have a chance of winning? Yes. because Hillary Clinton is a weak candidate, partially because she has handled this email thing so poorly, and she is personally very corrupt. So that's what we're at now, and we'll go into it more in later videos.